latest one, and it's been well received, and I like it. And I just flown out of it yesterday in VR, and it looks as great as VR, even greater than I imagined. So I'm really happy.
How long does it take you to actually create an airport?
Well, it's a lot of work. It's been about 3 months of pretty much full-time work. So I'm kind of waiting on the results and the sales and see if the time is even worth spending, and I really hope so, because my wife is watching over me, and this is too much time for a hobby, basically. That's what I'm saying. To do to this degree of detail and interior modeling. They're impossible to find, so they've done a great job of providing me for all the missing photos that I used in my modeling.
Thanks, that's cool.
Yeah.
DCA 1161 checking in. My name is Roy. Can I have a radio check, please?
Radio 85, Roy.
Coming in loud and clear.
I'm late as usual. Just joined. I'm having trouble finding the flight plan. I'm sure it's obvious. Where's it at?
Pipeline is up. And details.
Details. Okay.
Okay, yes. So today we've got some giveaways, guys. It'll be no surprise they're from Roman Designs. And we'll be giving away to 2 people during the course of the flight. Roman has 3 Microsoft Flight Simulator airports, which is Buttonville, Brampton and Ottawa International, and each winner can decide which one of those airports they would like, and you'll be given a voucher and you'll be given the access, and then you'll be able to get those at no cost.
Thank you, Roman.
Good. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Roman.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do this. And let's hope the VR holds and there are no crashes and things like that. So it's always a risk.
Never.
Okay, so the first leg, guys, is quite a short runway. Some of you may want to back up a little bit. We're going to take off. We're going to do this gentle bank to the right here, and then follow the valley down to the left. Recommend you stay fairly low, around 2,000 feet or so, and we're going to do a touch and go at the airport, the first airport, and then we need to climb fairly quickly to 8,500 feet to get over some of these mountains for a landing at our next airport, which is a real challenge, guys, and I hope I'm one of the first down so I can look at the carnage that follows.
Confidence in us.
We've made turn-off damage. Perhaps we saw Army knife will be alright.
How many are
he's
in...
watched a lot of already.
Can I ask how many are in VR?
Yeah, I am.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's quite a strong
5 or
contingent
6.
again. I must say, I'm a VR fan, as you know, but managing the stream and the fly-in and what have you, it's very difficult in VR, to be honest, so I'm sticking in 2D today. So I'm going to lead the way. I'm going to take off, and then everybody just follow me as you want. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm going to attempt to take off.
You in a Cessna, Mark?
Yeah, I am. I'm in a Cessna 182 with the G1000.
Nice.
Hi guys, Maverick here. I've not joined you before, but if one of you could give me an idea where you're streaming and where to fly from, I'll try and join in.
So if you're on the Discord server, since you're on the voice channel, so on that same server, the event details page, the very last post on the event details page tells you what server to be on and all of that, and then about two posts above that is the flight plan itself that you can load in.
Okay guys, thank you very much. I'll have a look.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I'm up, and here we go.
Hey lads, my sim just crashed, so I'll follow you on there.
Yay, positive rate, gear is coming up. The turbo outclub was much better, so the takeoff wasn't as much of a challenge as I thought.
Is anybody using live weather, or should we stick with like scattered clouds?
Yeah, I'm just on scattered clouds.
What's the speed everybody's doing approximately?
I'm going to be doing between 110 and 120 knots.
Me too.
Hey, Crossroads, your microphone's picking up a bunch of noise. Everything's banging around and
Okay, okay. I got you.
Guys, radio check, please.
Loud and clear.
Good. Yeah, can hear you.
Thank you. Just catching up from the back.
Yeah, I just spawned on the runway. I haven't seen anybody yet, so hopefully I'm on the right server, Northern Europe.
Yeah, we've just taken off and just headed off down the valley.
Are you guys turning left at the first valley?
Yes. We're supposed to be. Everybody, I'm turning left and everybody else going straight.
I don't know why I do this to myself. I join these group flights and I'm in like a totally new thing that I've never flown before. So this is my first flight in the Mooney, literally my first flight. So we'll see what happens.
Good luck.
Adventure.
Oh, is that the Coronado, Mooney?
Yes.
Excellent plane. Excellent plane.
Oh, I just read so much about everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people really love it, so I finally got it. However, I still don't see anybody, so I'm going to figure out what's going wrong.
Are you on the North Europe server?
System test. Okay.
Like he turned around.
Mark, are you going back home?
No, I'm fine, thanks. Sorry, I'm watching the stream here and forgot where I was going.
Enjoying the scenery already. Good choice. Thank you.
Something weird happens when I put on my game controller. It just switches off. I'm in the Cessna 7.2, and it just switches off both of the GPSs for some strange reason.
Oh. So it wasn't following the flight plan then?
No, it wasn't.
Now, I did not turn on live traffic because normally I just ignore the live traffic and see the other players. I have it set to all players, Northern Europe. That should be it, right?
And live
should be it.
What'd you say about live?
You set it to all players and live players.
I set it to all players, but I did turn the live traffic on because I thought that was the, live traffic, like the real world traffic.
I think you need that on, but I stand to be corrected.
Well, I will go try it because it's not working the way it is.
Sometimes it'll help you switch to another server, give it 30 seconds, and then switch back.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've never had to do that before, but I will do that now.
When we did the test flight with the Simhanger, I had a similar problem. We couldn't see each other. So I reconnected back to North American server and then back to European server, and it started working.
Okay, it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna try.
Nice steep turn, Mark.
Due to a wall in front of me.
I thought you got a contract with the Forestry Commission.
I think we don't touch and go in next airport, right?
Yeah, first airport's touch and go. Land sort of middle of the way. It's a reasonably long runway, nothing too challenging, and then we need to climb to about 8.5 to get to the next airport. The airport elevation for the next airport is 6,170 something feet, I think.
Does anyone live here in the Alps and knows these mountains ranges here or not?
Certainly beautiful scenery.
I think I have to go on holiday sometimes over here.
Alps are amazing. I was in Austria. It's kind of similar kind of low Alps area, and it's breathtaking. I couldn't I was telling my wife to take out the camera and start filming after every single turn. I mean, every view was like, wow, unimaginable.
So I took a train from Munich to Venice once. It was just awesome going through those mountains.
At the moment, there's quite a lot of snow on the high Alps, which is quite amazing.
That's a good idea. Maybe I should put some snow.
This is some crowded landing.
So this one is touch and go, right?
Touch and go, yeah.
Some of us hope we get that far.
I just bought the Reverb G2, but I haven't set it up yet. Really looking forward to that.
You're going to love it.
Yeah, if your graphics card can drive it, you'll love it.
I have the 2080.
I think that should do it.
I got 3080 and I can only do the OpenXR resolution of 65 and 100 TAA in the sim. So on 100 it will look awesome, but Flight Simulator needs a lot of optimizations before it can do that. Even 3080 can't do full resolution yet.
Yeah, so what you want to do is not just assume right off the bat that you're not going to be able to do 100% in OpenXR in the game. That's just a given. I've got to overclock 3090 and I don't do that. But in the game, in your graphics setting, you can see what final resolution it's running at. And I would say shoot for the native resolution of the headset, which is around 2100 by 2100, and just try to get that first, and then adjust from there depending on the stuttering and stuff.
Are you actually using the Steam VR for that?
No, not at all. So you're just using, well, I don't want to talk about this stuff during the stream, but OpenXR has to be there because that's what interfaces the sim to any headset, but in this case it interfaces it to WMR, which is what the G2 is, the Windows Mixed Reality, and that's all you've got in the chain is the sim, OpenXR, WMR, your headset. No Oculus, no Steam.
Yeah, I have a little addition to that. There's two ways of doing that. You can have a Steam VR OpenXR driver, and you can have WMR, Windows Mixed Reality OpenXR. So the only one that works well with G2 is Windows Mixed Reality OpenXR. So if you're using, like, if for example, if you bought the simulator in the Steam and using Steam for launching it, do not go to Steam VR. Instead, disable it and configure the OpenXR in Windows Mixed Reality, because that's the one you should be using. The one in Steam works awful.
You're right.
I've just got I haven't booted it up, but I've just got a new system with a 3090, so I've got a Hewlett-Packard G1, so it's going to be interesting to see what the difference is between my current system and the new system, and I'll be able to draw some comparisons, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. You think, oh, well, if I get the top of the line graphics card, it has to be able to drive this VR headset, this current VR headset, at the recommended resolution, which is actually like 1.6 times the native resolution. But if you do the math, the number of pixels that you're trying to drive to the headset is 2.5 times a 4K display. It's just a lot, and it just can't do it. It's 2.5 times the 4K display. Yep. If you have your G2 set to the full resolution, not just native resolution, but the 1.6x that they do to correct for lens distortion and stuff, then yeah, you're sitting at 2.5 times 4K. But anyway, let's not talk about that stuff. I think I missed the touch and go because I was catching up with you guys, and everybody's in the air.
Is that any better or not?
We still can't get the G2 in the UK at the moment.
No, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss the touch and go.
Oh, are we not there yet?
I think not.
Yeah, we did the first one.
Yeah, we've done that.
Did we?
Yeah, actually, we were just there.
Then I missed it too.
Yeah, we both missed it.
That's your story and you're sticking to it, yeah? This next airport coming up, it's quite a long runway. It's at high altitude, but the challenge is, guys, you're landing downhill.
Oh boy. Does anyone know if there's a way to make the dev menu appear in a VR headset?
I don't think there's a way.
No, you can't make it appear in VR. You just have to kind of lift your headset if you want to do something on one of the menus.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just using an OLED TV, so I recently just started turning it off when I'm using the headset, so I'm not burning those goggles into the screen.
Did I just pass everyone? Or did I miss a turn?
That's what I'm wondering.
Everybody was in front of me and then they weren't. Guess I went the wrong valley.
Hi guys, Maverick back again. I've managed to join and just taken off in the H135. I can see all you guys in the distance. So hopefully I can catch up with you when you make your first landing.
Cut the corner.
So we're climbing to 8,500 now?
Yeah, you need 85. You need over 8,000 feet to clear the mountains to get to the next airport.
Roger.
I think I can do that in a helicopter.
I've just taken off as well, Maverick, so I'm not too far ahead of you. So.
Right, brilliant.
Roman, are you using a 3080 or a 3090?
I'm on 3080. The thing is, like, the real difference between them is about 14% in the actual performance, depending on the game or whatever you're doing. And the price difference was huge, so I couldn't justify a 1390.
Yeah, the price is crackers, I must admit. The only way I could get it without paying any sort of premium was as part of a system build.
But the amount of RAM is important too. I mean, like, we don't know the future need for the flight simulator for more RAM. I mean, RAM of the car.
I think the card I've just got is, I think it's Asus or Asus.
They're all good, basically. There was a problem with some of the drivers there, the hardware current drivers on the board, but everybody sorted it out. So if you're getting it now, you're getting a good one.
Why are those graphic cards so expensive, by the way? Anyone know?
Demand, I think.
Well,
they can name their own price.
They priced them theoretically as the market. I mean, not as the market, but just based on cost and profit. And the main reason they're so expensive is the video RAM. That's really fast, really wide RAM. And there are gigabytes and gigabytes of it on there, and that's just going to cost money.
If anybody
There's
watching
nothing
on the stream
that can be done about that. And of course, all their design work that went into the graphics chip itself, they need to pay themselves back. And then, so you've already got it expensive, but then you can't get them without paying a premium. So now you're adding another 30% or something.
There's another interesting story there about the the GPUs themselves. There's only 2 production lines in the world that can do 7 nanometer process. And this is what NVIDIA uses, and this is what AMD last generation Ryzen's are using. This is, one line is Samsung, and the other is TSMC. And they booked for 2 years, basically. Everybody pre-buys the time on the production line. So as much as they want to increase production, for the next 2 years, they're locked in whatever they reserved, right? Because it's really expensive. And that's it. So they know there's demand, but they can't do anything. They can't increase production in any foreseeable future for both Ryzen's and the NVIDIA.
Okay, just going on to the stream. Just let me know if my voice is any louder now. I've just changed some settings. Thank you.
You can't, the miners buy up the cards as soon as they appear in stock anywhere, and therefore you end up having to pay scalper prices, paying a premium above retail. But NVIDIA's trying to cripple their cards for mining so that the miners don't want them anymore.
Let's hope the new things, the new LHR will work fine with us. I'm not optimistic about that. Let's see.
The new which?
Low hash rate cards. It's supposed to be released tomorrow.
Oh yes, right. Yes, the crippling of their mining. Right. Yeah, you would hope if it affects gaming performance at all, people will not be happy.
It will not affect the gaming, but I hope it affects the market so gamers can buy one. For example, for myself, I live in Canada, and I wanted to buy a car, and I waited for 5 months, and then the store told me cannot give it to me. So he refunded my money after waiting 5 months. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, no, I can't.
I was lucky actually twice, and the way to buy it, at least a couple of months ago, was doing an in-store pre-order with full price. And I got 3080 within a week of doing that, and I got Ryzen the 9050. Anyway, the new Ryzen within 3 days of doing that. I couldn't believe that. But you have to go, like, you can do it online. You have to go to Canada Computers, pay full price in store, and then you get an email when to pick up. And it worked twice for me, so that's just my experience.
My experience, I paid the full price in Canada Computers in person, and I waited for 5 months, and then they refunded me and they said they cannot give it to me. So I paid the full price. So eventually they used my money for 5 months to gain money, to get in the stock market, to gain money, and I got nothing. I'm really frustrated.
Yeah, that's the risk. When I reserved my CPU, they told me, "Are you sure we haven't seen one since November? We haven't seen a single one, and you're 19th in line." And I said, "Shut up and take my money, right?" And 3 days later, I got an email. Pick it up.
Approaching Lima, India, Quebec, Mike. Are we landing here or passing over or what?
Landing.
So distance is about 8 miles. Anybody knows the elevation?
About 6,500 feet, I believe.
Okay, gotta lose a lot of altitude fast.
Yeah, it's going down like a shot duck.
it's Maverick here. I'd just like to say thank you very much to the flight hangar guy for all of his help and experience and technical help. Has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I communicate quite a lot with the VI sim guy, and I bought my computer on his build basically. So I'm quite happy with that. It's a 3080 with an i9 1000 K card. So I'm quite happy with that. Yes. I also communicate quite a lot with the guy Adam who does the designing of Headcorn and Lid and Farnborough. He also helped me quite a lot with my setups. That's right. And the other guy I'd like to say thank you to as well, which probably isn't on here, is the Pie in the Sky man.
He's helped in-flight refreshments, is it?
He's helped me, Chris. He's helped me an awful lot as well with the Oculus Quest 2 settings, which I'm not in, by the way, at the moment. But this is fantastic scenery.
It is.
And you seem seen you in the airport yet?
On finals.
On final.
I'm 20 miles away from that.
I'm 1.5 miles. Oh, I can see it.
Ah, there it is.
I was going to ask, does the highway count?
Land. I don't think I've got a nose wheel left, but I've landed. Are we going to backtrack to take off again then, Mark?
Oh, sorry about that. I just went through someone.
Thank you, that was me.
You really landed short. Used just a bit of a landing strip, and my speed was higher.
Yes, I'm in a very light airplane.
Oh yeah, this Piper Arrow feels a bit heavy, so like it handles a bit like a larger airplane. So it's not easy to brake fast. I tried my best.
Well, we all survived. Well, most of us.
Anybody got a lawnmower on board?
Ouch, that was a little heavy. Whoops. I hope you got damage off.
Is there a ravine after the landing, the runway?
Sorry, say again?
Is there a ravine after the runway?
A ravine?
A ravine, yes, if you overshoot.
Yeah, rather large drop off.
Okay, good to know.
But if you do drop, if anybody does have a crash or anything, then hit the Y key and then hit F4 and that'll raise you up in the air. Then hit the Y key again, it'll take you off Slew and you can carry on.
Excellent.
Okay, so are we backtracking and taking off in the same direction that we landed?
Yeah, I think we'll just give it a minute or two, just see how many people, just so we can sort of consolidate a little bit, if that's okay.
Absolutely. I'm just backtracking for now. Just wanted to take position. And by the way, anyone, if you want to ask me any questions about scenery design, about VR, because I have quite a few bits and pieces here and some secrets or anyway, the way I organized my setup. So feel free.
VR is a headache, I have to say that.
It's a headache to set up, but it's such a joy. It completely killed the pancake gaming for me. That's what it's called now, pancake gaming. You know, because like I just look at the screen, and it's the difference between looking at it and being there. So there's no comparison. After I tried VR, that's it. There's no, not that I was a gamer, but there's no comparison. It's just so amazing.
I must admit, I have a visual impairment, so you know, sitting in front of a screen quite close is okay, but the VR is very, very good.
Once you fly through the mountains and you look down, you stick your head out the window and look down. It's hard to go back to 2D flying.
It's
completely immersive. Is everything what?
In 3D?
Well, yes. I mean, yes. So VR is not like real life because it's like you're wearing swim goggles. It really is like flying with swim goggles on because, I mean, not swim goggles, but a mask, a diving mask, because you're looking through this mask. So it limits your field of view, and you need to learn to turn your head to look where you want to look. And depending on your headset and your GPU, things may be a little blurry, but everything is definitely in 3D. You will definitely find yourself reaching out to grab something or reaching over to the passenger seat and trying to put your hand down there to you know, it's totally 3D.
It's especially great in simulators because all the cockpit is right in front of you and everything else is really far. So the parallax is really high, and you feel you feel things being three-dimensional. It's much better than like a 3D movie or something. And also this sense of depth really helps you to land, and like it just changes the game completely. It's a different way. And by the way, I did a post on in the Microsoft forums, right, and about the VR controller support, because I couldn't believe the controllers weren't supported when the VR was released. And my post is the one that got 400 plus voices. So it's the first place in the developer snapshots. So hopefully they will implement controllers soon, and that's even more immersive because, like an X-Plane, I was able to tweak any switch to turn any knob, and I could feel the clicks of those encoders when I was turning them. It's just amazing. So hopefully soon, at least this year, if Sobo is to be believed, this will be implemented in Microsoft Flight Sim as well.
Okay, guys, let's backtrack and let's head off.
And also about VR, when you're doing a pattern, it changes everything because you actually look behind you. You can look at the runway being 45 degrees from you. Like you don't have to push button to look something. You just do it naturally, like in a real plane.
I like the idea of the fact that you can get up into a passenger plane, and you can step back, set a chair up behind you, and step back and sit in the chair and sit there as a passenger.
I have some videos up on YouTube that I made when we were doing VR beta testing. That I am just fascinated by the concept in VR that you can get up and walk around in the real world and you're walking around in your virtual world. Yeah. And that's not what a flight sim or a racing sim is meant to be done, right? But I still can't resist it. So like my first racing sim, I got out of the car and walked around the car, you know, while walking around my real room. And for the flight sim, I got up and moved into the cabin and sat down in one of the seats in the passenger cabin. and I also got out of the airplane. These videos were made just for fun. They're really super silly. Maybe you know what I'll do is I'll send a link to it in the chat for the server.
Okay.
I wanted it to be like.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Hey, Mark. This is Joe. I just crashed. What are those keys I'm supposed to press again to get up into the air or whatever?
Okay, press the Y key.
The Y key.
And then F4 to lift you up, and then the Y key again.
Thank you. I'm up and flying again. Thanks.
I've just overtaken all of you. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm up and flying again. Thank you.
Right.
I took off the wrong direction and went right through everybody.
Watching everybody take off. It's marvelous and chaos at the same time.
It's like we're taking off on a mission. Everybody's getting in the air.
What altitude on this leg, Mark?
8.5 again.
8.5, thanks.
Then we're going to fly over the next airport, and then it's a touch and go at the following airport. And we're going to have to drop down, I think the elevation's about 300 feet. But to clear the mountains, if I remember, yeah, it's 8,500 for the first part of this leg.
Dumb question. Where's the flaps indicator in the Mooney? I see where the flaps switch is, but I don't know how my flaps are set.
There are two sort of LED small vertical displays in the middle, and you should see it there.
Ah. Okay. Yes.
That's the lovely thing with VR. If you're not sure where your flaps are, you just look to your left or right and look out the window.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you had a Quest and you had a G2 plugged into your simulator, which one would you reach for first?
A Quest 2, you mean? A Quest 2 and a G2?
I think the G2 is the most popular.
If I did other things for VR, like, you know, Beat Saber and anything like that, the wireless nature of the Quest 2 would be really hard to pass up, because that big cable kind of gets in your way when you're doing active VR. But if I just want the best sitting down, highest resolution, clearest, because I have a 3090, definitely the G2. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would endorse that 100%.
I can't afford one.
I've got a G1 and I cancelled my order for the G2. I'm in the UK and I just got so tired of waiting. Yeah, the G1's good.
Yeah, and a lot of people that went from G1 to G2, they were like, well, why'd I do that? You know.
I tried to find a G1, Mark, and I couldn't find one anywhere.
I haven't looked, but I would have thought maybe eBay, something like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's going to be a second-hand market, isn't it, now?
Yeah, HP have stopped selling the G1 completely.
It's mad, really, because as we know, we can't get hold of the G2 and you can't even order one. It's so annoying.
I got the G2 from HP Canada in about 3 days. I was expecting to wait for ages.
Yeah. In the US, at least, it is appearing well, it was, I haven't checked lately, on the HP site itself. And the cool thing in the US is that if you order through Walmart, it actually comes from HP. It's as if you're ordering direct from HP. I mean, it literally ships from HP. However, if you have a problem with it, you can return it at your local Walmart. So that's what I did.
I did a phone pre-order in HP because there was no official pre-order in Canada. They did it through a couple of shady stores I never heard about. But turned out there was a phone pre-order in HP, so I got it with some discount even when I phoned in. And well, I did it in September, but I got it in December, and it's fine. And by the way, with the other games, I did extension cables in the next room, which I have, like, it's a big room, so I have a full VR experience. And I did the ceiling mounts with
to hold the cable.
The wiring, to hold the cable. They're kind of spring rollers that pull the cable in and out. So it's pretty good. Like, the cable are almost never in the way now with, the Alex VR or Skyrim VR and this kind of active play.
Where are you, Mark? Are you bringing up the rear?
I am. I watched most of the people take off. So I'm bringing up the rear at the moment. I must say that airport did not incur as much carnage as I expected.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to try harder next time.
Try harder next time.
I crashed about 5 times.
Oh, thanks. It makes me feel a bit better.
So I've been saying this in every multiplayer event, which is a way to find out how many people are going to all these different events, because someone will go, oh yeah, I heard you say that last time. But here we are, having good conversations about VR headsets and stuff while we're flying through this just incredible scenery that's almost as realistic as you could get. And it's just like, oh yeah, there's the mountains and the valleys and the rivers and clouds and stuff. Let's talk about VR. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I'm just flying this whole time with my jaw open. Like, I don't even try to express it. So I'm talking about VR, but I'm admiring the scenery.
I know, because how many times can I go, this scenery's amazing? How many times can I say those exact words, because I can't find any other words?
Well, the question is, how much better can it get, really? I don't suppose it can get much better.
It doesn't feel like it, but...
You can open up your window and smell the fresh mountain air.
Very easy for VR, guys. If they optimize it so we can get 100% resolution, that would be even more opening experience. So that would improve it a lot. I'm dreaming of the day I could do RXR 100 and GIA 100 both. Because once I tried it, and I got like 8 FPS, right? But the quality was amazing.
Yeah, you just can't move. Well, okay, again, I keep saying I'm going to quit talking about this, but mind you, I have a 3090, so I can run it higher, and I'm one of the outliers here. Most people don't agree with me here. The number one thing for me is the cockpit instruments. Yes, I have to move my head to see the ones over on the far side, but I want them clear. I want to be able to read everything in the cockpit. And at that rate, I run OpenXR at 180, but I run the in-game at 60. And the cockpit is amazing. It is so clear.
That's really interesting. I've never tried those extremes.
It's the opposite of what most people recommend, but most people want distance scenery to be super crisp. And from the time I started in my Rift S, everything for me has been about the cockpit. And once I started doing this, and with some of the improvements that they've done, it's perfect for me.
Is anyone using one of those vibration chair simulators? Once affordable, I think that's the next big step.
Yeah.
Mine is super affordable. I made it myself. It cost me $0. I made those butt kickers out of 2 old car speakers. I took the cardboard completely, all the diffuser, like the cardboard completely out, except for the wires, of course. I glued in the PVC pipe to get the vibrations from the coil directly into the chair. And the only thing I bought was the sound module for the SimShaker software, because and I'm mixing it with the audio feed from the simulator. So I got the low end from the simulator through the high pass filter. So I only get the engine vibrations and all the low-end sounds that are present in the simulator audio. But the SimShaker software is also feeding me events. Like I can feel the touchdown, the gear touchdown, the left and the right on my left and right butt cheeks, respectively. So, and that's amazing. I can feel the flaps opening, I can feel the gear lowering, and I can feel the drag from the gear, you know, when they open. I can also feel the plane vibrate when I do like stalls and things like that. So it adds so much to the experience in VR. It tricks your brain even more than VR itself. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I was actually thinking more along the lines of, you've seen the rigs where they actually have hydraulic cylinders where, I mean, they cost several $1,000s, but they'll elevate the chair, they'll turn the chair. You actually feel the physics as if you're flying in a plane or driving a race car.
Yeah, the full motion rigs.
And unfortunately, so far with G2, there is no way to do motion compensation because the software has to know, because when the chair is moving, when you're tilting, your headset is tilting. But the software needs to know that it's not, right? So, you know, you have to stay motionless in the cabin. That's called motion compensation. You can do it in Steam VR for some headsets, like the LIYV with the LIYV tracker, but you can't do it in G2 so far. So that's been stopping me because there's a Kickstarter for it's called Yellow VR, I think, the second version, and it costs like $1,200, and you get full motion, which is amazing, but it won't work yet. So fortunately, I haven't been to nag my wife about another $1,000+ because it's useless for now.
I never thought about that before, that you're moving, therefore your headset's moving, but you don't really want the headset to be moving because that's changing your view, but you're moving because the game is moving you. So on your butt kicker thing, what's the PVC pipe part of it for?
Guys, if you want, I can post the pictures later in the chat. Basically, it connects the coil, the central part of the speaker, connects to the wooden cross that is screwed into the chair, right? So the vibration passes directly from the coil to the chair, basically. Okay. But this sounds still like the wooden cross is for some kind of flexibility because it can't be totally rigid because, you know, the chair is heavy, right? You want some vibration passed. So it's kind of I saw some examples of people doing that, so I did that as well. It's tricky, but it works great. It just works fine. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on those things.
Quick question, please. Is the next stop Matarello?
Let me just check.
Yes, and it's 608 feet the elevation.
Okay, then I'll start my descent already then. Thank you.
600. Just make sure I heard that right. 600 feet, not 6,000.
Yes, 600.
Yeah, the next airport is Lima India Delta Tango, and that's a touch and go, guys. But runway 36 only, runway 18 you can't land at, so you need to approach it and then land in the opposite direction to which you're approaching, so a bit of a pattern or circle is required. And as soon as you clear the high ground, you need to drop like a stone because the airport's in the valley in front of us.
One way in, one way out?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
A question about the butt kicker we were talking about earlier. Does it hurt when you have a hard landing, or?
It kicks your butt.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt, but you definitely hear it and feel it.
Yeah, and you can feel your individual landing gears touching down, right? And you feel the ground roll, the rumble on the ground roll.
Yeah, the next step in realism will be when you have a hard landing, it actually like smacks you, hits you, punches you, breaks something.
Yeah, like your chair just falls down to the floor,
Yeah, exactly.
That would be nice.
I have an application which does that. It calls my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say the same thing. Just ask her to bring you up something to eat.
Yeah, strangely, it doesn't always align with a hard landing. It's more like you've been flying too long, and the next thing you know, bam.
Yeah,
Feels
when
like
I was
you're out of
playing,
fuel engine crashing.
yeah, when I was playing Half-Life Alex, my wife used to just pass by, and suddenly scream, "Doug, behind you!" Or like,
oh my god,
to the left, they're shooting at you. And that scared me. Half-Life, if you ever played Alex, it's a bit scary. Things jump at you and whatever. It's really good, scary ambience, right? So when somebody screams with your left ear, "You're behind you!" That creeps me out. I couldn't play more than an hour.
Sounds like she's got a sense of humor.
Loads of it, but you have to if you live with me. You're like, if my wife has to have a lot of sense of humor, or she'd kill me. That's easy.
Well, she hasn't done that last one.
Well, I'm sitting in this helicopter cockpit, and I've just turned on the aircon, switched on my desktop fan.
Oh, brilliant!
So is this port down in this valley that we're in, or are we going to go past this valley before we land?
The airport's in this valley, and it's just at the sort of end of this valley, the T-junction.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do a touch and go, but approach from runway 36 if you can.
Oh, so the other way. Okay, so doing the circuit then.
That's right. Runway 18, no landing, and that's in the real world too.
Fun. Okay, that's good news because I was doing really heavy crabbing to lose the altitude. Now I have more leeway.
How are the rules for a helicopter? Can I just sit in a field next to it?
Yeah, or there's a few buildings and an apron.
Oh, crash to desktop. That doesn't happen very often.
Oh crap.
No.
This has crashed 3 times on me since the last update for some reason.
Yeah, I am getting more of them now, and there's one thing they recommend that I do, but I don't want to do it, and that is that if you're using a G2 or WMR headset, they recommend that you don't use the preview runtime for OpenXR, the version 106, because they're thinking it's causing a problem. But that preview runtime is the one that enables the 1/4 motion smoothing, which I really like.
I can play without it. I mean, it's that's it. Like you have to make 22.5 frames per second with motion smoothing, otherwise it's too jerky for me. It's a moment comment.
Now that I got that working, because it was really hard for me to get it working because I couldn't get the preview runtime to work, but I can't do without it, and so I just live with the crashes. But that was disappointing because now there's no way to join a flight plan in the middle. I mean, if I spawn somewhere in the middle of the flight plan, I lose my flight plan, right?
Open the flight plan in the little nav map, delete the first few, re-export it, and then load that one in. That way you can start in the middle of a flight and have your plan.
I don't have little nav map. So the other thing I have done is I load the complete flight plan. I spawn at the place where we start, and then I use VFR map for VFR to teleport. I guess I'll try that.
I've got the runway in sight.
Oh, I'm really doing a short approach. Turn too soon. Let's see if I can land.
All I can see is there's a mass array of flashing strobe lights. It's amazing.
Well, I'm sat on the ground watching everyone come in, and it is quite amazing. Actually, it's a bit like some of the real-world fly-ins that you get with loads and loads of aircraft.
And I'm down. Oh, are we doing touch and go? Okay, then I'm up again.
Touch and go, yeah.
The Piper Arrow is really twitchy on takeoff. You have to trim up a little bit, or your tail end can slide all kind of ways if you have a slightest crosswind.
I'm just entering the traffic pattern, now downwind for runway 36. I've got a butt kicker strapped to the chair here, but I'm not using it today.
You guys may eventually catch on that every time we're coming in for a landing, I have some kind of technical difficulty. So it's honestly, I'm not doing that on purpose, but I'm not having to watch. Nobody's getting to watch me land because I keep not landing.
So beautiful, all the little houses there, and just looks amazing.
I just done my touch and go, and I'm now flying on the pad and seeing everyone land coming in is awesome. It's just a sight. It's crazy.
I hate to repeat this, but I've got a pen with me this time. What is the Y key process?
Okay, press the Y key. That takes you into slew mode. Then press F4, and that will lift you up. And then press the Y key to return to normal flight.
Right. And you do that from the restart screen, or?
No, that's it. Just that's if you haven't crashed and you've run off the runway and it hasn't.
Mine's gone to the restart screen, so.
The best thing is to restart and then spawn at one of these airports.
Yes, that's right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you must not have damage turned off. That's why it took you to the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've crashed 3 times on the last 3 flights I've had, so obviously that's what I've done.
Yeah, I like flying with damage on when it's just me, but I have it off almost all the time now because of all these group flights. It just makes it easier.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Are we landing a 1.8 or 3.6?
We're landing 3.6.
Hello everybody, Centurion here, just about to join in.
500.
Hey
Hello.
Centurion, great to have you along. Welcome.
Thank you for the
I'm
invite.
going to go back inbound for runway 36.
I'd ask my wife if she'd wear a cabin crew outfit next time she brings me a cup of tea. Too polite to respond to tell you what she said.
You got your butt kicker.
Hey,
Yeah, you got your butt kicker.
Yeah, don't forget I'm live streaming this, eh? It's going to be available on replay, mate.
We'll have to get her to subscribe.
I think I'll get her to watch it and see what she says.
Mark, it looked like a good landing there.
Yeah, I'm down and hopefully back up again without too much incident. Here I go.
So, Roman, you said we could ask questions about scenery and stuff. I don't feel like scenery is something I could ever do, but I've been curious. If you haven't been somewhere, or even if you have, what is your source for the buildings and all? Do you use Google Street View, or what is it that gives you the material to recreate it?
Well, if I'm lucky and the area is covered by Google photogrammetry, I can use it for the general idea about the shapes and stuff, because you can see buildings and stuff in 3D. Also, obviously, Street View when it's available. A lot of panorama photos from like inside the airports, and all the Google Photo archive for the spots. It's kind of a research job to do to get all these things. and occasionally inside people that can get me shots, like for Ottawa Flying Club. In my Ottawa scenery, I got 2 people there to take specific pictures for me of the areas and taxiway signs that I couldn't figure out, and specific buildings, hangars, and things like that. Even like newspaper articles that have some shots. It's a research job basically. And now, like a guy from the fly school, instructor and the first officer in the Oshawa flight school contacted me, offered to give me a guided tour and take me to the air, and so I can take all pictures and everything if I'm doing that airport. So basically, yeah, all sources I can get, anything I can get, I just use that. It can be a funny thing, because in the Brampton scenery, which is a small GA airport that I've done, I think I've taken the wrong turn. Anyway, so in that scenery, I on one of the main office building walls, some windows are missing because I couldn't find photos from that specific direction. So everything else is exactly bang on, and people just been saying that it's as if I'm there. It's so great, but why don't you have a single window on the other side? And I said, well, I suppose it was a wall. I couldn't find a photo of that side. So obviously, yeah, the more photos I have, the better chances of getting it precisely as in real life, because that's what I'm aiming for. It's exactly, it should be exactly matching.
That's fantastic. I'm glad I asked that question. I had no idea all the sources. That's great.
Speaking of
Thanks,
buildings,
Kevin. You just scared the crap out of me.
speaking of buildings, I see a very high tower in there. Is it normal? At the end of after landing, I see it after landing. It's very high.
I think you're seeing one of the terrain spikes. This is one of the bugs that happens sometimes. So you suddenly have a single point in the terrain really high, so you get those spikes for no reason. I'm not seeing a specific one that you're saying, but I saw one in the area.
Beside it's 1,500 feet. It looks like building. I see windows inside it, so it's building. It's not just terrains. It's weird.
Oh. Flight Simulator takes OpenStreetMap data for its artificial intelligence engine that decides where the building should go. Because it sees there's a building on the map, and it takes the data sources they have, like OpenStreetView maps, and sometimes they have the building height, other times they don't, but sometimes they have it incorrectly. So there was like a building in Australia with 1,000 floors, for example, because it just took the number from the OpenStreetMap view and it says 1,000 floors or something, right? Instead of 1 or 10 or something like that. So that could be the reason.
Yeah, interesting to know. Thank you.
So which valley are we taking? Some guys are flying to the left and some to the right.
A few more minutes to go over the mountain, so kind of some of us are going one way and some of us are going the other.
Yeah, you need to climb to about 7,000 feet. The next point is a waypoint, and then we leave the Alps and we head towards Thien Airport, which is a short strip grass airport just out of the Alps into the flatlands as we head towards Venice.
So the next one is Lima Echo Delta Kilo Oscar, correct?
That's the waypoint, and the airport is Lima India Delta Hotel.
Are we going to be landing there, Mark?
Yep, it's a full stop landing at Lima India Delta Hotel.
Thank you, sir.
By the way, one tip for the VR users, I'm doing a project now which I call VR Control Box, which has I 3D printed basically all kind of stuff, and it has 6 dual encoders. So I mapped it to the GPS unit. So in VR, with the GPS 530, I believe, I can actually operate everything. So I can switch waypoints and whatnot without using a mouse. Right, and which is very important in VR because it's really awkward to use the mouse in VR.
So this would work for non-VR users too. It's an actual physical thing that you could use for controlling the GPS.
Absolutely, I can use it for everything, like heading and altitude and you know, heading bug and whatever. I have 10 buttons and 6 dual encoders and a switch there. But mine is geared for VR because it's very compact. It's not trying to model a specific unit. Because if you're not in VR, you know, the best way is to actually build the cockpit, right? Or at least parts of the cockpit, so you have things at the right places. But in VR, you can find it because you're not seeing your hand moving, right? So my trick is placing a small box next to the throttle quadrant, so I don't have to look for it, to feel for it. It's right under my fingertips, and it has 6 encoders, which are the shape of them is different, so you can actually tell by feel if you're you know, changing the heading or the course or radios or, you know, something else. So there are 6 dual encoders overall. Each one has a different, well, not each one, but most of them have different shapes. So, and they're kind of the layout is more or less realistic, but they're really close together, not like the real unit. So it's really convenient in VR.
Yeah, that's great. That's what I was figuring out. Was my control placements aren't super realistic. They're kind of. I mean, my throttle's kind of where it's supposed to be, stuff. But more is I can reach everything, and my hands know where they are.
That's the trick in VR. It's motor memory, right? In X-Plane, I operated everything with my controller right in the cockpit. That was much more convenient. But so far, we don't have controller support. And I looked up dual encoders. There's one called Nobster that you can buy for like €100, I think, which is outrageously expensive. And it's just one controller, right?
Yeah,
plugged into USB.
Crazy.
I bet like with some 3D printing, you can make dual encoders from single encoders, which cost me like $5 for 10, right? So basically, all the materials cost me under $25. And I'm getting a box with 6 dual encoders and 10 buttons and the 3 position switch.
Roman, I'm getting the distinct impression you're a real DIY man.
I am. I'm also cheap. It helps, you know. When you don't have like $300 to spend for something, when you can build it for $20, I'm saying, yeah, go for it. I'll spend a week building it, but you know, at least I won't have to spend the money. So my wife would be happy about, you know, not spending hundreds of dollars on something else, on a new toy.
So now, I'm like, my career is a electronic engineer, and I've done hardware and software and stuff. And so to me, when you say it's an encoder, I think of just the encoder itself, just the little part that rotates and has pins on it. And then I was thinking you interface that to a microcontroller that, you know, talks to USB. But are these ones that you're getting, are they standalone, like they have a USB interface on them? Or are you having to program the microcontroller too?
The one that I was mentioning, the Nobster, that's the one with the USB, but it's €100 for one dual encoder with the buttons and with the knobs. I mean, everything assembled.
Yeah. Right.
What I'm talking about is those parts you mentioned from AliExpress, you know, those just the little parts. And I use Arduino board and MobiFlight software, which is basically a library for interfacing your Arduino to, you know, and all the encoders and everything in the buttons to the simulator, because you use sim events to interact with the flight simulator.
So you kind of tell Mobi or whatever it's called, I want this control to appear like this in the sim as an axis or a button or whatever, and it does the code in the microcontroller to do that.
Yes, exactly. And then you flash the firmware into Arduino, and it just works fine so far.
Crap. I know drinking is dangerous, but I didn't know I'd go into a stall when I was getting a beer. Jesus.
You're flying on a can again, Albert.
Yeah. Tell them I fly sober, Kevin.
What runway are we coming in?
Jeez, I can't understand the air.
Runway 17.
Okay, thanks.
You're way ahead of me. I've been ambling around here. I need to get a move on. I'm way behind.
I'm at the back, Mark. Maverick, bald head con. That's a nameplate and a half.
I've just passed the LIDCO waypoint.
Just managed to take off from your touch and go.
Woo! I'm back. I'm trimmed.
I was having a look at the world map before I spawned in, and there's about 38, 39 guys and girls in the air here. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we've got 38 in Discord. 38 people in Discord at the moment. Not sure if there's people flying without Discord.
And we have trouble with 3 of us, Mark, sometimes.
So how much people you said?
Sometimes I normally fly with 2 other guys, and we're always having problems.
What sort of problems?
Not showing up on the screen. Sometimes not being out and losing controls. Very strange.
But as far as this flight today, did somebody say there's 38?
Yeah, around that, yeah.
Yeah, there's 38 people. There's 38 people in Discord, so I'm guessing they're all flying. And I don't know if there's people flying, but not on Discord, which there could be.
I'm sure quite a few of us are, but at the moment I'm flying in VR, and it's absolutely awesome.
Yep.
Apologies if I missed it. But what runway are we landing on?
Runway 17.
Thanks, back.
And
And
that's
up-
smoothed out the VR
a little bit?
Sorry, say again?
Oh, I was just wondering how's the VR now? Did they update it and it's made it smoother, or?
No change whatsoever from the sim side, but the last OpenXR update gave us motion reprojections at 4 in the factor of 4. So as long as you're making 22.5 frame per second, or slightly higher is preferable, you get quite a smooth picture, which is a game changer. So far it is at least playable. I mean, I'm still waiting for optimizations, which were not present in the last update. But hopefully they are releasing for the Xbox soon. So they're switching to DirectX 12 and doing huge amount of optimization, because the Xbox only has 10 gigabytes of memory shared between video and RAM. So it has to be really optimized well. So hopefully it makes to the PC version as well, and then we should be seeing much better performance, because top of the line systems with 3080 and 3090s should be much better than this in VR.
Excellent. Yeah, I know it's going to get better.
Where is the airport?
I was wondering the same thing.
I'm at the airport right now.
Oh!
Yeah, I just saw some people land
I'm
right
just
now.
over that. Oh, okay. Gotta do a button.
Yeah, the label, if you've got airport POI on, only shows up about 3 miles before you get to it.
That takes the fun out of it.
Pops is the first one there again.
I took the shortcut.
Actually, that's what I really like. In the old simulators, you could see the runways for miles, nothing like in real life. You could see them really straight lines for 10 miles away or 20 miles away. Now you really have to look for them.
That's just like in the real world.
I use a focus mode.
Are we doing a crosswind left downwind?
As you like, long as it's runway 17.
Turning base now.
Most people are joining right base.
Got a fuel truck just come out and trying to sell me some fuel.
You never know, they may have it on discount.
Oh, that's true. Buford, Texas. Awesome.
On final now, a bit high.
That's kind of like just my motto. I would need like a t-shirt that says that. On final now, a bit high. Always.
You wish.
Why do you appear to have no landing gear? That's weird. Why do I see several people that look like they're on their bellies?
I'm pretty sure I have one because I felt my butt shaking when I, when I lowered the landing gear. Yes.
Oh, I see it. It's just very low-profile landing gear. What is that plane?
That's the Just Flight Piper Turbo Arrow. Piper,
okay.
Yeah, 3, I think. Yeah,
okay.
It's Arrow 3.
Yeah. I have the Arrow, but I haven't gotten the Turbo yet, but I will be today probably.
It's a bit. It's my first flight in it actually. I took a risk and decided to do it today because it's much faster. It's easier to gain altitude and just easier to manage.
Yeah, I did. It's my first flight in the Mooney for the same reason because I didn't have the Turbo yet, and I hadn't flown the Mooney yet, and it's pretty fast. So I did the same thing.
The Mooney is practically a perfect aircraft for this sort of thing. It's got the speed, it's got the altitude ability, it's really good.
And with damage turned off, I went well over 200 knots.
I am way too high here.
This looks like a photo opportunity, Mark.
The thing about Piper Arrow is you have to remember switch your fuel tanks occasionally because otherwise you're getting too unbalanced and you're starting to veer to one side and it's weird and then you run out of gas.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, like you're supposed to do it like every 15 minutes or something like that to keep it balanced, and you have to have your fuel pump on while doing that briefly.
Can I ask a question about? Sorry, can I ask a question?
There's one trick for the fuel tank, and that's if you have the right for the past the whole hour, take the right fuel tank, and for the left, take the past the half hour.
Whoever it was that wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, it's Maverick. I just wondered, anybody with the Oculus Quest 2, do they suffer with the unit getting hot? Really hot sometimes.
Nope, I haven't had that issue.
Right, because I've sent one back because I've had that problem, and I use the line connector, and it feels quite hot now, even though I'm not using it. It's connected.
You can actually even increase your resolution with the side quest by a simple click.
Right.
Are you saying your headset's hot?
Yeah, it just feels very hot to touch on the outside.
Like super hot, or just like start a fire hot?
No, not that. Not as hot as that.
Is
It's a full stop button into it.
The Reverb G2 gets pretty warm. I've got it now. If I put my hand on top, you can feel it's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time my Quest got hot was I was running it, I don't know, at maybe 120 to 150 back and forth, and I just backed it down. It's a little blurrier now, but it's almost room temperature.
Right.
You can have it at 75. You can have it at the standard, standard megahertz or whatever, but you can increase the resolution by downloading side quests and then clicking the wrench when you have it plugged into your PC, and then with one click, you change the resolution. So I have mine like set just below like 4K.
Right.
By the way, I wanted to mention for the G2, maybe some people heard about the mod that you can get closer to the lenses, basically, if you don't wear glasses. So I 3D printed one of those models and made a new gasket. So it helps with the field of view. It's a bit wider, which is nice, and like less of a diving mask feel. And also it helps with the sweet spot, so it's a little bit larger because you're closer to the lens.
I'm cheap like you, but I did spend money on the company that makes the nice padded lower profile thing for the G2. I'll have to go find the name of them. VR
cover?
Yeah, the VR cover. I knew it was something really straightforward. And I was a little more than I wanted to spend for that, but once I put it on, I never took it off. And it does all the things you're saying.
Yeah, I just 3D printed the model, and I bought on AliExpress. I bought some cheap padding, just the thin padding for some other VR HMD, I think, and it fitted nice, and it's almost as good as the original one, so I'm happy. In my old Oculus Rift S, I had a problem with fogging, like when it gets hot inside, when you're in for a while and it's summer, then yeah, but G2 so far I think it's a bit less. I almost don't see a fogging problem.
Feels like it's less. I don't know, I haven't been able to figure out what the secret is as to whether it's going to happen or not. I do keep a soft lens cloth nearby for those times, because once it starts fogging up, you're like, why is everything all blurry? So you lift the headset off and wipe the lenses. But it does seem like it happens less than it did in the Rift S.
And I thought it was just me, because mine on the G2 seemed to fog up a wee bit. But
is everybody down, guys?
I'm going to crash in a minute.
Yeah, just get down here.
At least you'll be down.
We're backtracking, Mark.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for just sort of everybody sort of consolidate. For those of you that started off on default, just check your fuel, because you'll find it starts default 50%, and I have very little left.
I started on 80% and now it's a bit over 50.
Yeah, I had that problem the last fly-in, so I learned it the hard way.
Okay, we're going to do the first giveaway whilst we're all here and consolidating. It's just a straight random draw, guys, on anybody in the Discord. And again, to remind you, it's a choice of scenery software from Roman Designs, any of the 3 Canadian airports. And the winner is Delta Charlie Alpha 1161.
Nice. Well done.
Congratulations. I hope you enjoy my scenery. Take a look at the website. I'll post it later in the chat. Or maybe Simhanger can post it now. So take a look. 2 airports are GA oriented, small airports in the Toronto area, and one is the Ottawa International, which is a larger airport. Very detailed with interior modeling, with 7 open hangars
Anybody
you can
hear
start
me?
inside.
Well, that's great. Very much. Very
Okay,
much
so
appreciated.
if you contact me on Discord via direct chat, and give me your email address and what have you, I'll send you the code. You then go to the Roman Designs, set up an account, purchase the software you want. You'll get an opportunity to enter your voucher code, enter that in, that'll zero it, and job done.
Well, that's excellent. Much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Very kind. Well done.
Okay, shall we get out of here? Is everybody down?
Yeah.
So we should backtrack and take in the same direction, right? On runway, what is 17, 16?
Yep. Let's backtrack and head out of here.
Okay.
Glad I got damage switched off here.
With this many airplanes, you definitely need damage on, particularly with my flying skills.
Should be a mod that chops them up if they do that.
I'm sure there will be eventually.
Thanks for lifting up as I come under there, Dave.
Yes, but challenging. I agree. Even though I find the Corsair even more challenging. I don't think I've landed the Corsair successfully once. I'm
I haven't had a good landing today, that's for sure.
There's so many great planes.
Yeah. About 30 minutes probably. No, it's 2 hours. Is everything okay?
Roman, I've got a question about modeling. What kind of software do you use? Is it just standard 3D modeling software, or do you use other software to make up your designs, or how do you do that?
Mostly what I use is Blender, which is an open source and free 3D modeling software, which is really extensive. And there's a special exporter plugin for it that's called Blender to MSFS, which lets me export the objects and the textures in the format that the SDK would understand. And then I place it inside the sim, in the SDK, in the scenery editor, and I can render the package for the scenery. So basically mostly Blender, a lot of Photoshop work for the textures. I use almost exclusively I used Quixel Mixer, which is also a free beta version of the software that lets you create materials. It has a library, which is pretty good, but the most valued feature is that you can actually create materials in there precisely to what you need. Like all the if there's any kind of panels there, like concrete panels, you can create the panels of exact size that would be repeatable, right? It's a seamless texture. Or so basically, like my Ottawa scenery, I almost exclusively have custom materials made specifically for that scenery, right? So to match the real life materials as the metal wall corrugated metal materials of specific colors and things like that, and you can model the layers on top of that with all the reflective qualities and the damage and wear and things like that, right? So what I'm trying to do is that I built in my damage and wear inside the textures, so I don't use a huge textures for, like, say, a specific building that are very taxing on memory. Instead, I make several of the smaller texture files, but with wear and tear built into them. So it's much lighter on the frame rates, and it looks great, and it looks amazing up close. Like it's all sharp and crisp. If you've seen the Simhanger's review of the Ottawa or the other one, highly recommended. Like you come close and the textures are still sharp. Everything's really great, and you have the reflective qualities, the material, all the joys of PBR, which is physically based rendering. So it looks good while using relatively fairly small file sizes for the textures. So keep the FPS reasonable.
So how do you then do the place the parkings and the gateway connection, that sort of stuff? Is that what you do in the designer mode in Flight Simulator, or is that also in SketchUp?
Yes, all that stuff is done in the scenery editor in the simulator, part of the SDK. Now the gateways, I'm using customized default jetways for now, because in Ottawa they really look very similar. Now if I do the next one where the jetways are drastically different, like have some glass or very specifically different, I'll have to design my own gateway, which is tricky, but I'll master it. Again, it will be done in Blender, exported to the sim, and then matched to the parking spots in the simulator, in the sim editor in the SDK.
Where did you learn then using those 3D SketchUp tools? Is that something you learned online, or you also have some experience from your job? Or?
Well, if you compare it with downhill skiing, I did a lot of face plows. Like you have to just plow through a lot of different things and bugs, and like if you think the simulator is buggy, you haven't seen the SDK. I mean, so many quirks and bugs and unobvious ways of doing things and workarounds you have to learn or invent to make things work. I must say, Roman,
that I've done quite a few face plows myself, but it had nothing to do with programming.
Or skiing.
So yeah, very buggy and difficult to work with, but the results look so amazing. It's worth all the frustration.
Okay, so the next airport is a flyover, and the one after that is the last touch and go. So this one coming up is just flyover. It's just a farm strip.
Lima India November Echo, right? That's the flyover.
That's the one, yeah. And no prizes for guessing we're out of the Alps, and we go from one extreme to the other, from mountainous to absolutely flat.
Correct. Yeah.
But I've flown over this area before, and even though it's flat, if you look at the detail of the scenery, it's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I'm from the Netherlands, so I'm used to flat.
Yeah, Ontario is pretty flat too, so I'm really excited when I fly over the Alps because it's so unlike what we have here.
Now, what I do in all my flights, if we can just give a call out, I just love to know where people are from. I'm from the UK. I'm from the Midlands in the UK, and just be nice for people to shout out where they're from.
Well, let me start as a as an honored guest. I'm from Toronto, Canada, where I reside right now, but I was born in St. Petersburg, Russia, and then I lived 14 years in Jerusalem, Israel, so I'm all over the place.
I'm
London,
in the
England.
state of Washington here.
I'm from Kent, England.
Scotland.
The Netherlands.
Yeah, Netherlands too.
Portugal.
Sorry, say again.
Maverick.
From Portugal. Hi.
County Clare in Ireland.
Yeah. Maverick in Tees Valley Airport, Durham, England.
Joe Todaro from upstate New York, USA.
Wow.
Yep, same here. You got the Chaz here. Same thing, upstate New York.
Hey, Chaz, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
You guys must know
Good,
each other.
thanks.
I'm about 45 minutes north of New York City.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Cool.
Nice. Next door neighbor.
Go Eagles.
Mike, Warwick, England.
Yeah, this is Crossroads. I'm originally from New York, and I live in North Carolina now.
I'm from the Netherlands, and I have been several times in the UK. I cycled the North Sea route, so I have seen a lot of Scotland and England. Fantastic.
Stephen here, or Stefender. I'm in Vancouver, BC, originally from Guelph, Ontario, and Toronto, in that area too.
Hey, I'm Liam. I'm originally from London. I live in California in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Ah, that's where we flew over the last flight, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
That's absolutely right, Mike. That was fun. Like flying over areas that I kind of see every day. I did private pilot training there. It was a cool flight. But this one matches it. I've never flown in this area before. This is amazing.
Man Hank here from Germany, and if you guys are interested, Tipbird, Yoke and me, we do a round the world flight every day, about 1 to 2 hours long. And if you care to join, feel free to let us know later on.
Yeah, that's great. And if you can, I don't know if you're able to, but we are streaming this. If you know somebody's got access to it, you want to put a link in the stream, no problem.
Well, I would try to clarify that later on, maybe with you. I don't want to, bust your channel or something like that. It was just information that I wanted to share.
Yeah, or drop it into the general chat in the Discord. Be more than welcome.
Okay.
Pops here from Midland, Texas.
Hi, Pops. Cool name.
That is a cool name.
Yeah, Pops is one of the spring chickens of our flight. Is that right, Pops?
Sure enough, I'm just 74 years old and I'm just getting started.
Very cool.
Good for you, man.
You guys talking about flat a while ago, West Texas out here, it's flat. Nothing. The ski, bite you or stick you.
This is Ayman from Ottawa, Canada.
Qatar.
Canada.
Ottawa.
Oh, from Ottawa.
Yes, okay.
So you live right next to my scenery, to my airport, which I released recently.
Yes.
I've just jumped out of my helicopter into a Cessna now. A little bit more control. Fed up with crashing.
Okay, so how do you do that mid-game?
Well, basically back to the main menu, and one of you just mentioned Lima, India, November Echo. So I looked that one up and started my flight from there. That's why I sort of come heading towards you rather than I'm just on the upside. Bald head com.
Can I just interrupt you guys a minute, because I really need some help here. My plane's about to crash. I'm in the Aero turbo and the engine's going to die. I think my fuel's okay, but I don't know what's wrong.
We'll send a search party.
Did you check your fuel up on the in-flight menu to see what?
In the last stop, I refueled.
500.
What plane are you in?
The Aero turbo.
Check your mixture.
Yeah.
Check your fuel tank switches, because sometimes you don't switch to another fuel tank and it seems you have fuel, but the engine doesn't see it because you're in an empty tank.
Okay. Yeah, notice it's on the left tank. Okay.
So switch to the right, see if it makes a difference.
Yeah, check your mixture, like Mark said.
Yeah, and for the guy in the helicopter, you can enable developer mode. You'll get a menu on the screen, then you can change planes mid-flight whenever you want.
Do that again?
If you enable developer mode, you'll get a
okay.
window
Up on the top.
corner.
I got you. Yeah, now I remember. I think I did that once before.
And I think under window, there's an aircraft selector. You'll see all the planes, and you can just change mid-flight.
That's a good tip.
I have my tank switch mapped to a switch on my Bravo, so I can just change tanks by flipping the switch.
So this is going to be a dumb question either way. Either it's obvious, or I should have known it doesn't have one. But where is the autopilot in the Mooney? I can't find it.
No idea.
Autopilot should be actually on the your altimeter setting and vertical climb indicator setting. I believe it's the mid panel, lower bottom right, I think.
Okay.
And it should say AP. Yeah. You see that?
No, that's what I keep looking for. I've got a brand new Yoke here. I've never flown with a Yoke before, and I have the Alpha Yoke, and it's got a really strong spring on it. And I'm also recovering from surgery, and so it's literally I'm getting sore from pressure on the yoke, and even though I try to trim it, so I'm like, you know what? Let me just fly with autopilot for a while. But
Or you can just hit Z.
Oh, you mean let the?
Yeah, hit Z for Z.
Does that let the AI fly?
No, well, that puts on your autopilot.
Oh, okay. Maybe that'll help me find the button.
Yeah, and I don't know about that particular yoke, but if you look online, there's a lot of instructions for different yokes in terms of changing the spring tension.
I'm flying an old Cytec yoke and pedals and throttle. So what I did is a rubber band mode, basically. I took the springs out completely and replaced them with rubber bands in peculiar places. So it's not just eases the tension, you don't have the center detent. So it feels much more real now. It doesn't doesn't click into the center positions, both yaw and pitch. So now it's, and I just did the roll 2 days ago, and it's so much better than than having it snap to center all the time.
I would also I use the Alpha Yoke, no problem at all. But I do recommend that you configure it or calibrate it in Windows. Otherwise, you find slight pitch up, pitch down, etc.
Oh, you mean just in the control panel in Windows?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark's got a video for that.
Okay, I'll check that out because I didn't do that, and I did look at changing like the spring tension, but then I read Honeycomb's opinion on that, and they're like, you can if you want, but we really put a lot of engineering into figuring out how to make this just right. So I thought, you know what, it'll relax, and I'll get better. Yeah, I mean, it really encourages trimming, that's for sure.
Are we landing into the next one?
No, it's touch and go here at Avio Sulfici Jonathan. Excuse the pronunciation.
I don't think there are any Italians over here, so.
This is Joe Tadero. I just went in. I ran out of fuel. I did a good landing, and it's an outlanding. I landed in somebody's farm over here or whatever.
Nice.
That's where we had that cow.
Any landing you walk away from's a good one.
I can't believe it. I only had a couple of miles to go, and I ran out of gas.
You have a cup of coffee?
As soon as I turn off, the sound.
Sorry guys, this small landing strip that I just saw when I was directly over it, was it a touch and go or was it
Touch
just a
and go.
flyover?
Touch and go.
Oh, okay, I'm doing touch and go then.
I'm just touching down.
I'm right behind you.
And I'm off.
And I'm up.
Oh, this is much easier than the helicopter.
Mark, do we have an update on what's next?
LIPV, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to overfly the next airport, and then after that, it's our final destination, LIPV.
Thank you.
Hey Mark, this is Joe. Is there any way to refuel?
Yeah, from your toolbar at the top, you'll see an icon that looks like a kg weight. Click on that and you can adjust the fuel.
Thank you.
Don't you learn everything?
Shift Q. Shift Q. Repair your plane and fill your tanks. Shift Q.
You can also try Control Alt and F for Foxtrot.
Or you can map a button on one of your controls.
That's what I did. I cheated for that. Like I learned that from flying bush flights and running out of fuel.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can also set unlimited fuel in the assistance menu.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be any fun though.
That's really boring, yeah.
I'm up in the air. Thank you very much.
I did such a rough landing that somehow my autopilot turned on. And I was wondering why my yoke is a bit twitchy in the cabin, which it was really, really smooth. Turned out I had to turn off autopilot.
Which menu do you go into for crash detection?
Assists under controls.
Assist under controls.
I'm sorry, not under controls, but assists under options.
Okay, thanks.
And then there's damage and something thing that you can set to like easy, and it'll turn off crash.
Okay, thanks.
By the way, one tip for all you VR flyers that might be useful. I'm usually using the voice attack software with a special profile that's free and it's available over the internet, and the special plugin for the Microsoft simulator. So I can literally tell my so-called co-pilot to do everything, basically. To switch on things, turn on lights, you know. I can set the radios. I can say, like, for example, set heading to 150, and it will set the heading bug for me. And basically everything that's accessible in the simulator, I can do with voice commands, which is especially handy with like fuel pumps and switches and things like that. And I don't have to use the mouse for that.
Can you put a link to that in the general chat, please?
Oh yes, definitely. I will do that. It's a game changer, and it helps immersion, because like I hate mouse in VR so much, so that I wanted to, you know, not use it as much as possible. And for example,
is that the multi-crew you're using?
Sorry, the what?
Is that multi-crew you're using?
No, that's just a voice attack software. Basically, it's voice recognition for all kind of games, right? Because you can map actions, key presses. You can make it say something. So, for example, when I take off, I just say positive rate, and then it replies to me, speed check, 79 knots, flaps up, and you can even do like flaps and gear and whatever if you wanted to.
Nice.
Excellent. Sounds like fun.
Does anybody know, with my new system, I'm going to have to transfer Microsoft Flight Simulator to a new PC, what the process is to do that?
I'm afraid you'll just have to reinstall.
Yeah, through Steam.
What I did though, I made a dual boot system, right? Just for the flight sim. It's another Windows 10 installation on the same PC, and I can boot into my main one for work or to the sim one. And I didn't even have to reinstall. I just you can find out online how to move it. You just basically move the profile. Maybe it'll work for a new PC as well. I can look it up and see if I can find how to do that.
Yeah, my problem is I did a default install Microsoft Store directly to the C drive because I was concerned about potential problems.
Yeah, and Microsoft actually does make it easy on a given PC to move it to another drive. However, you're going to a whole new PC, so you definitely have to install it over there. And since you'll be logged in under your Microsoft account, I think it will just work. Of course, you'll have to bring over all your, or redo all your mods and stuff, bring them in.
Yes, it will. I recently had a new PC and reinstalled it all on the new PC, and you just do it straight from the Microsoft Store. It's no problem at all.
Did you have to uninstall before reinstalling?
Nope. No, it's still on the old computer, which is up in the attic. No, it's because of course it knows when you sign in to Microsoft Flight Simulator, it knows it's you, and if you try and sign in on another machine, it won't let you.
Oh, that'll be fine. I'm fortunate. I've got a reasonably good internet speed. It's about 150 meg, so downloading it's not too much of a problem.
And they literally just changed it to cut the download size in more than half.
Yeah, it's about 80 gigabytes now.
Oh, that's a pleasure.
Yeah, it was up to 180. Now it's down to 80 something.
How did you do that?
I can't figure it out. I'm wondering what they took out. They say optimized.
Yeah, there's been a lot of optimization because they need when they launch it for Xbox in August, they need it to be cross-platform, and they say, how accurate it is I don't know, of course, that the optimizations for the Xbox have been brought across to the PC. What that means in reality, I don't know.
Exactly.
They're not, it's a different branch. They haven't been brought up to PC yet. They will be. So this must be something else, because they are launching in the summer, and then after that the next sim update might have those changes and this branch brought into PC. So then we hope to see a huge optimizations. But for now, nothing that's been on Xbox has been brought into the main branch, so it's not that. They probably just cut some FSX code or something that was taking space without being used.
Yeah, look at this scenery. It's just stunning with all the water and the little inlets and what have you.
Yeah, I was there actually. I was in Venice, and we were staying in the hotel in Lido. So those, like, I've never been in the air, but those, the terrain looks familiar, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Are these salt pans below here?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
They look like salt pans, you know, where they make sea salt.
It does a bit, yeah.
I doubt it. Maybe they grow rice, because I don't know.
No, they don't grow rice in Italy.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Just a big lagoon, and there's salt water and fresh water coming together in this place.
But why all the roads crisscrossing and stuff? It doesn't even look like there's much buildings or anything.
Maybe it's fish farming.
Maybe.
Don't know. Could be.
Anybody got the runway heading to this terminal stop?
The route should take you in more or less straight towards it. You're landing
2305.
Thanks.
Thanks ever so much.
We should fly over Venice.
Yeah, I was going to, but I was very conscious of the time and what have you.
The photogrammetry there is really great. I mean, you could really see all the San Marcos place and like everything there.
Yeah, I must say I was disappointed with the photogrammetry in Birmingham in the UK and also Netherlands in Amsterdam. It doesn't seem as good as it used to be.
Asoba has different sources, like, and Bing has different sources as well, so it depends on what kind of photography they've been able to take there. So some are worse than others, for sure.
I do appreciate you being conscious of the time, Mark. I did a flight yesterday. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's just too long.
Yeah, I try and limit my flights to roughly 2 hours. Although I see we're slightly overrunning that.
I agree with you on Birmingham, by the way, Mark. It was pretty bad, I thought.
Yeah, I did. I don't know, a lot of the photogrammetry looks melted to me.
I thought that about Amsterdam as well.
Yeah, I can't
help. Melted is a very good description. It looks as though someone's had a hot air dryer on a waxwork, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I like to fly between the buildings and that sort of thing. And I know the photogrammetry isn't designed for that, but I do like to go extremely low and slow and explore new areas. And there's bits floating up in the in the middle of the roads and what have you. I was just a bit disappointed not the same quality as before.
Do you know, it would be great to go and have a look at Venice while we're here.
That's what I was saying.
Ready to come this far and not have a look.
Come back tomorrow.
Let's land, then we can go and have a look, and I won't inflict that on those watching on the stream.
Oh, hi, I just joined for landing.
Here we go. Final runway in sight.
Is that runway 23?
Yep, runway 23.
Roger.
Runway design and final runway 23.
Skunk monkey spacing out and passing the airport without realizing it.
Yeah, touchdown.
Somebody's coming in right now. Wow, you are high. Yeah, go around.
$500.
Once we land, guys, if we can go to the other end of the airport by the buildings and just group there for a group shot, I'd really appreciate it.
Yep. Roger.
Roger here.
Butter.
I see many of you guys hovering like 2 meters from the ground.
Those bouncy tires. Oh dear, oh dear.
You'll see somebody with the arrow turbo with the bug, with the tail number. You have to get the new one, the 0.1.1.
So they already have a patch up for the turbo?
Yep, there's a new version. They didn't notify, but there's one. It's version 0.11. That fixes the tail number bug and maybe other things. I don't see this change log.
Oh, so you can see everybody else's tail number?
Yeah, if you put a custom name there, it will show on the tail. But the bug one, it just shows a white square.
Yeah, I hate that.
There's also an EGT gauge bug, I think, because sometimes it just falls to 0 and just stays there. Like when I do the fuel leaning, you know, I'm trying to keep the EGT as high as possible, find the fuel leaning spot, and then it's 0. So it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, they didn't send out a notification. I just got the plane when it was released, and I sent it on Facebook. Hey, what about that bug? And hey, check the new version.
Good to know.
Mark, park right beside you, so I made the full trip this time.
Good man, good man.
Are some of you guys hovering in the helicopters, or is it just the sim bug?
I think there's a few helicopters here, I think.
because I see TBM like hanging like 3 meters from the ground.
Yeah, that's a helicopter, but if you don't have the helicopter in your community folder, it doesn't show. It shows as a plane.
Ah, good to know. So I need to install this couple of free helicopters so I can at least see helis.
That's with all aircraft. You have to have them before you can see them.
Yeah, we've got 2 helicopters just on the ground beside the hangar at the moment, side by side.
Oh, so that's why I see Piper Arrow. Is it? Yeah, it's Turbo Arrow, right? I'm just facing you. You probably see me as well as a Turbo Arrow.
I won't see you as a Turbo Arrow because I don't have the Turbo Arrow installed on my system. I will see you as a stock aircraft.
Oh, I see. Because I see one Turbo Arrow definitely there with the high tail. I'm in the Arrow 3, so I have a low tail. But
okay, well,
the 4 one has a high tail.
Yeah, you have the Arrow installed, so you can see an Arrow, but I can't because I don't.
Okay. Well, it's good to know. So at least, because I thought I would only see generic aircraft regardless. Because I think I actually selected an option to see generics, and I'm surprised that I'm seeing an Arrow.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to do a quick. Just let this random thing run again to decide who gets the second free software from Roman Designs, and the winner is Dichas. Congratulations, Dichas, you get a choice of Roman Design software.
Oh crap, thank you.
Well done.
Congratulations, and enjoy. Take a look at the website and pick one of the 3 airports, one international, Ottawa International, or 2 of the GA ones around Toronto area.
And I find that in the marketplace?
No, the code will be to my website, so you can go through the purchase and then enter the code, and it will be zeroed out for you, so you can download it for free.
Yeah, so
I can make a code for the marketplace.
Okay, for DCA1161 and Dichas, if you message me on Discord, private message, give me your email address and name, etc., then I will give you a code, and then you set up an account on Roman Designs directly on their website, and then you purchase the software, go to buy it, enter the promotion code, that'll zero the value, and away you go. If you've got any problems or hassles, please let me know, and I'll be in contact with Roman.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the website will not take any of your credit card or PayPal information because it's a zero, $0. You will just enter your email and name, but no payment information.
Yeah, thanks again.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. There will be another fly-in in June. I haven't decided where, and please do give me suggestions on the Discord under event suggestions of where you'd like to fly next, and I'll put a flight plan together. If anybody's got a suggested flight plan, always happy to look at that as well, guys. Thank you very, very much indeed to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Excellent flights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark, a lot, and it's been an honor to be here as a guest, so thanks for inviting me.
Roman, thank you very much.
Time here. This is a great flight.
I'm going to download Ottawa now, Roman, so that'll be fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone for a quick flight over Venice?
Yeah, I'm in.
I'm in too.
Okay, I'm off to Venice.
Yeah, and we can land at the big airport next to Venice, whatever it's called, LIPO, something like that.
Cool, here we go.
Just give me the digits or something, I can put it in my GTS 750 GPS.
I tried to send a message in